I was speaking to someone in my community recently, and it may or may not be obvious, but I do come from um, a different continent, and my community tends to be a little bit old school and kind of follow, the ideals of back home. So in my community, there was a young graduate who, just got their first opportunity, their first job offer out of college, and their parent was kind of trying to coach them, but I was just hearing a lot of bad advice. One thing that really bugged me was that this person had gotten, very uh, acceptable job offer, um, for their first job. But their parent was telling them not to negotiate, to just say yes right away. Sign the paperwork. They should be doing the I-9 and W-2 or W-4 already. Just like everything, just accept it immediately. Don't even think about it. Nothing. And this college grad was kind of trying to have a dialogue with their parent, but they were like, I think I'm worth a little bit more. But not just that, forget the internships I've done where I've gained industry experience, and they'll be benefiting from that experience as well as the education that I have, which is in this field. Um, Given the cost of securing these skills in in this market, people are making almost 10, 15K more. So their parent kind of talked to them as though this college grad was just, I guess, looking for more money, trying to milk their employer, just being very selfish or egotistical. But uh, the college grad was making a very sound argument, which was not, oh, I want more money. It was more, um, the value of my skill sets in this market is worth, an extra 12 grand. And I intend to counter to this company, um, to go from, the amount that they had offered, which was around about 50K, all the way up to, 65. Um, so I let their parents, kind of talk them down. I know this college grad. We're in the same community, and I let their parents kind of talk themselves out. Then I came in. I just made sure very quickly that I made my spiel. I told them that I think they're on the right track. Um, their parents come from a different time, and the ideas they have kind of make sense, right? Back then, they had to kind of take what they could get, right? You get what you get. You don't be upset. They had to be grateful for opportunities because they were just so rare. But I was very mindful that what worked for our parents in the 70s and the 80s doesn't really translate well to today, right? Some things might, a lot of them don't, right? These are the same parents who tell us to just walk into the lobby of the high rise in the city and ask for a paper application, or tell us that join a company as a janitor and work really hard, and someday, you'll be like the, I don't know, marketing director. It doesn't work that way anymore, right? I hear these stories of janitor to CEO, and I wonder if they're actually all true. Um, so I had just a very quick dialogue with them, and I told them that, just based on my experience, I am always open to negotiations when I make an offer to a candidate. I can't imagine that the company, which was a fairly reputable company, would not, be as welcome to that. I told them that you're putting together a very good, mature argument. Um, when people come from a place that, oh, I just want more money, negotiations just fail, right? That sometimes an offer gets taken back if you approach it the wrong way. It's not healthy. That's not a company you want to work for if they pull the offer. But I said the way you're approaching it, they really should only just say no, possibly. I can't see them pulling the offer. And really, you're approaching it in such a way where you're using data, right? You're using actual evidence, and you're showing them that, hey, you've made me, you've made a fair offer for someone who's a college graduate with no experience. I have prior experience, right? Not to mention this person was actually also working at the time, so while this was their first job out of college, they were already working a job that they got in like their senior year. So, they were continuously also adding experience with every passing day, right? So that company was really not just hiring a college grad who's not employed, they're hiring someone who already has a job. So we had this quick conversation. I provided a little bit of coaching, told them how to kind of handle the negotiation, what words to use, um, how to be a little bit concise because their original pitch was kind of wordy, and to remove anything that had to do with like feelings. For example, they said stuff like, "I would love to work for your company. I had a great time coming on site." I said, none of these things matter, right? Just be objective. Maybe you can be personable, I guess, but I said when it comes to negotiations, I said it's usually just a very quick, back and forth dialogue. And I said you don't want them to know how interested you are in the company, right? You want to show a little bit of interest, but just the fact you're negotiating shows interest. You don't want to tell them how much you liked it because they're going to try to leverage that. I know because I have done the same in the past. If someone has told me, "Hey, I really want to join this company. I've always wanted to join your company," guess what? I'm going to see, um, how badly they want to work for my company. Now, granted, that's something I haven't done in years. It's a little bit of a um, predatory tactic, but there was a time that is how I approached salary negotiations. And I see this problem in first, sometimes even second generations Americans, um, where we have not bad advice. I feel like it's good advice that has just expired, right? It worked for our parents or sometimes our grandparents. And it's just important to be mindful to go online. And I don't want to say you should just go on random forums, but, there's websites like Glassdoor where you can get, good salary data. And then if you ever have a question, there's good resources available online. You can go on YouTube videos, see how to do the salary negotiation. You can go on Reddit and just ask for advice from the community. Some of the subreddits can be pretty helpful. Some of them can be an absolute mess. Um, but we have resources available to us right now, right? There's just so much crowdsourcing of information available. I mean, you can ask a question and get so much input, and based on just gut feeling, you can kind of sniff through what's BS and trolling and what's real anecdotes, what's real information. So I saw that, and that just made me think that there are people out there who they get their first offer and they want to negotiate for a higher salary, sometimes because of cost of living or other factors. And then they're kind of pressured from family members or maybe even their friends that, oh, just accept it, because they might pull the offer, just accept it, don't be greedy. It's not about greed, right? If you have a certain market value, you should pursue that market value. And if you're living in an area that has a high cost of living, don't mention that because a lot of companies will say, "Oh, it's not our fault." But yeah, if you have a high cost of living, that is a real factor. Tell them that your labor has a certain value, and approach it intelligently and get that money.